This is the defendant, David White. He says the plaintiff lived in the house for a short period of time, damaged the moldings and other things, and told him flat out he wasn't going to be returning his deposit because he had repairs to make. He certainly doesn't owe the guy a dime and feels the judge will agree. He's accused of copying an attitude.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
My twin bed, that's what I had. My twin bed and 65-inch color TV. So...
Dad.
I'm down and out. All I had was my twin mattress and my 65-inch color TV. Okay.
But the defendant says the plaintiff actually lived there and damaged the joint. It's the case of security breach.
Okay, Mr. Perez, you're suing Mr. White for $500 security deposit that you believe he should be repaying you, and he is not. Tell me how the circumstances arose that you were moving in there.
Thank you, Your Honor. I met Mr. Davey. He came to a gas station. He came in with a box truck. So at the gas station, they needed somebody to work with sheetrock. They needed the whole ceiling to be done. So I asked him, look, they're looking for somebody to work for sheetrock. But I put up some sheetrock.
And you thought that he might be in the construction business? Why?
Yes, because he drove a box truck.
What's a box truck?
A 22-foot enclosed van where we store tools and advertising.
No. All right. Are you in the construction industry?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a licensed contractor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so go ahead.
So when he was about to leave, I asked him if he knows where I could find an apartment. You know,
what possessed you to ask him that?
Because over in my town, whoever drives a truck like that got to do with handiwork, handyman.
All right. So you ask him, hey, do you know of any apartments? And he says?
Correct. And he said, by the way, I just bought a house and I'm remodeling an apartment. All right. Whenever you get a chance, come on over, check it out. So I went the next day. I looked at it. He was working on it. So I liked it. I tell him I like the place. You know how much he was going to charge me. Okay.
Describe what it is that you're renting. You bought a house?
Yeah, I bought a house.
All right. And are you living in it?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it you were going to do with him? Rent a room out?
Pretty much. I was going to section off the house and give him half the house for $1,000 a month.
Okay. When he makes you that offer, do you say, yes, I would like to move in?
Yes, I did.
All right. And then so you were going to start renting it as of when?
It started the 1st of November.
Okay, so November 1st, you're supposed to move in.
Yes.
And so to hold the place, you give him $500?
Correct.
And then what happened?
I gave him $500. After I gave him the $500, I went the next day, which was the 1st, to look at the place to see how he was doing. Nothing was done. There was no shower. There was no water going in the apartment. There was no floor. The floor was there. We said he was going to put a carpet in. He needed painting. The kitchen wasn't even set up. Nothing was set up.
So what do you say to him?
He said, don't worry about it. He's going to work on it.
But it's already the 1st.
Yeah. So I came back on the 2nd. It's still nothing done. You know? So on the 2nd, I had to go to Brooklyn. Right? So on the way back from Brooklyn, he gives me a call. He tells me that, why did I throw his tools out in the garbage? And I said, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
When would you have been in a position to throw out his tools?
There was no position at all.
Did you ever throw out his tools?
No, ma'am.
Were you ever working with his tools?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I didn't know whose tools was there.
Okay.
You know, all I did was clean up the room. If I could, you know, put my my twin bed. That's what I had. My twin bed and 65-inch color TV. So.
Dad.
I'm down and out. All I had was my twin mattress and my 65-inch color TV. Okay. All right. So go on.
It's good. I would just started off here in the United States. That's why I didn't have nothing. So I just
you apparently have something because you have a 65-inch TV. So, all right, go on.
I got it cheap. That's why.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right. That same day, he recovered a quad. Like a motorcycle. A quad. Like a motorcycle, a moped.
A quad?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he recovered it, right?
He recovered it. I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, they stole it from him.
Oh, he literally recovered it. Okay,
Yeah.
so, okay.
All right, so he recovered. I don't know how he got it. So with the truck, he went over to get the quad back. All right, he called the police, so the police was coming. Because the police would not let him.
Okay, why are you involved in any of this?
To drive the truck back from where he found the quad, which is about 6 blocks up.
Okay, so he drove the quad and you drove the truck?
I drove the truck.
And he drove the quad?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were helping him. Okay, so then, okay, and then when does something go wrong and then you decide you don't want to live there anymore? Or he throws you out. I don't know how it happens, but let's get there.
Yeah, because there was nothing going on. You know, the second
So
day.
when do you tell him, look, this place isn't finished, there's nowhere for me to live? When do you say that to him? Because you seem to be moving stuff in and doing things with him like pals. So I'm kind of curious when all of that changed and why.
Right, all that changed because there was nothing going on. All he wanted to do is hang out with his friends.
Okay.
You know, I needed a place to sleep.
So what day did you decide that it was no longer okay?
On the second.
That's the day that you're moving the second part of your stuff in.
Yeah.
So why?
What
happened? What happened?
Basically, pretty much as he described it, and on that same day, right after the box truck incident, he was driving the truck. Now, you know, in a neighborhood, you pay attention to trees when you're driving a box truck that's 10'6". I guess you didn't pay attention, or you'd never driven a box truck before. But the whole way down the road, as I'm watching, I'm jumping on my quad. I've got cops, and they're like, "Yeah, go ahead, just take your quad home and get it in the garage and just leave it there." I'm watching them hit every single tree going down the road. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm not going to say nothing.
I mean, I presume, is this a 2-lane, one each way?
Yeah.
So where do you expect him to drive the truck, if not on the lane?
Well, ma'am, they're actually pretty wide streets. I haven't hit any trees through there, and I've been living there for 4 months.
Okay, it's a box truck. I assume there's not a lot of free space this way or free space that way in the one lane, so...
They're driving dump trucks up and down those streets, no problems.
So you want him to go like this and try to avoid the trees that are there?
No, just try not to drive on the sidewalk almost.
He drove on the sidewalk?
I was... Basically, it was just way over too far.
He says it was 6 blocks down, and you're making this up to keep his $500 deposit. Are you going to tell me that your truck is damaged as a result of his driving?
I repaired it. I painted the side of it.
Do you have any proof of anything that you've said?
I've got pictures.
Let me see. Did you tell him that at that moment when you get home? Did you say, dude, I saw you hit a bunch of trees?
I said something at that moment, and kind of everything started to escalate from that point. As soon as I said something.
What did you say to him at that moment?
Did the plaintiff deforest the defendant's garden? Will the plaintiff get $500? Milian rules next.
Have a color TV that's like 65 inch.
Because people love entertainment and it fuels their lives, so they need TV.
That's a fair point, but is it a bad priority?
Could be, but maybe that's the sole position they have and they honor it deeply.
I'm not going to argue it. We kind of make our living that way, you know what I'm saying, going inside the courtroom.
I said, yeah, come on, man. And he just looks at me, he's like, what? So, I mean, what am I supposed to do? You know, I just turned around, I walked.
Did he say something to you when you got to the house?
If I'm driving your vehicle, you behind me. If I see me doing something wrong, won't you pull me over and tell me to be careful?
Well, I don't know. If I'm on a quad, I may not be able to pull you over. But I mean, did he, in fact, say something to you when you guys reached? Okay.
The only thing he said when I asked him for my deposit, that's what he said he was not going to give my money back.
Are you telling me that in the 6 blocks that he drove it, he did all that damage to the side of your truck? You didn't do any of that?
No. I just got the truck like 2 weeks prior. It's been sitting out in front of the house.
Yeah, it's not a new truck, is it?
No, it's an 87.
Okay.
I know it's not a new truck.
Okay. All right, so according to you, he did every piece of damage that you see on this
Just
truck.
on that one side, yes, ma'am.
So are you the one who tells him you can't move in here?
Yes.
Or you need to move out, I guess?
I just said, you know something, with everything that happened in the past hour, that's it, I'm done.
Okay. All right, so what is your excuse for keeping his money? Because the problem that I'm having is you clearly know that you can't keep it on a landlord-tenant basis because the place wasn't ready. So you're stretching now and you're telling me, yeah, Judge, but he was doing me a favor driving my truck, and look at what he did to that 1987 truck that I've had repaired and bought 2 weeks earlier. Maybe not. Maybe you're just making that up because you bought a 1987 truck. We're going to repair it anyway. And now you're claiming that in 6 blocks he did every little piece of damage to the side of that truck. Because that sounds kind of unbelievable to me.
You know something, after everything with seeing him pretty much every other day, 3 blocks down the street from my house, I've kind of gotten over the fact of everything that's going on with it, you know, with this whole situation. I've learned to move on from small, petty stuff.
Dude, do me a favor. Don't be a thief and give the guy back his $500. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You have to have very good reason to keep security, and you have to be able to prove it in court. And unable to do it, the defendant loses his case. And you're feeling on this now?
I think the judge was right. She he made the correct decision. So I've got no problem with taking care of him and squaring up with him.
Okay, well, that's the stand-up of you. How come you couldn't do that before you got in here?
Personally, you know, the way that I was raised and everything, if you break something, you borrow it, you use it, you know the rules. If you're using somebody's car, you go out, use it, you fix it. If you break, you go into somebody's house, you break something, you're helping them out. I know I went to numerous friends' house, helped them put in a stove, had to replace the stove, broke this or broke that, and I've had to replace it. And that was my feeling on it.
Okay.